Well, moving on to some other news now, and the UK Prime Minister Theresa May has said that there will either be her deal or no deal as Parliament debates European Union withdrawal accord. Theresa May has said that her deal made sure that jobs were protected. And opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn hit out at May, asking her why the deal was not finalised last December. Lawmakers have begun 5 days of debate ahead of a historic vote on Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal. Earlier, 20 rebel MPs from Theresa May's party voted against her no deal. Senior Conservatives have vowed to that they won't back a no-deal Brexit. MPs backed an amendment to the finance bill which would limit the scope for tax changes following a no deal. Let's listen in to Theresa May, who's speaking at this moment.
Running around Europe talking about Brexit rather than his responsibilities like crime, housing and transport. Does my right honourable friend agree with me that if he does insist on being a Brexit diva, he should concentrate on telling his side to actually deal to give London...
Prime Minister!
To my honourable friend, I absolutely agree, and that what the Mayor of London should be doing is looking at what delivers on the overall vote of the people of London, and what on the vote that my honourable friend referred to in terms of the people of London, and on what delivers in a way that protects the best interests of Londoners, and that is to vote for this deal.
Meg Hillier.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has had 20 dancing rebels, has promised 5 golden trade agreements and has had 1 big defeat. And yet she still can't find her withdrawal agreement. Has she checked her pear tree?
The Prime Minister.
I think it was a good attempt, but Christmas happened a couple of weeks ago.
Dr. Julian Lewis.
According to that invaluable website, theyworkforyou.com, the Prime Minister has assured this House on no fewer than 74 previous occasions that we will be leaving the EU on the 29th of March. Will she categorically confirm today that there's absolutely no question at all of delaying that date?
Prime Minister.
I'm happy to repeat what I have said previously, that we will be leaving the European Union on the 29th of March. I want us to...
All right, so that discussion, of course, taking place, and Theresa May speaking as well. Mandy is now live with us, and Mandy, well, this just looks to get worse and worse by the day. Is Theresa May coming up with a plan B as Parliament is expecting her to?
The answer, in simple terms, and how she's saying, is no. There is this deal or no deal. And that means Britain crashes out. Now, she doesn't expect, she's admitted that next week, January 15th, when the vote in Parliament will go ahead on her deal, it's unlikely to pass. We know that 20 of her own MPs say they're not going to back it. She does not have support of the DUP, that is the Northern Irish Party, that she needs to back her to get bills through Parliament. So she is fully aware that this will likely not pass through Parliament. There's barely enough time to go back to the table. The EU has said they're not interested in having any more negotiations. So she says the only other option will be no deal, and they're preparing for that. However, her ministers and most of the UK and economists believe a no deal is the worst possible scenario, and they're doing what they can to prevent a no deal Brexit situation. That means possibly pulling the Article 50 clause and stopping Brexit altogether to delay it for a further time when they have a better chance. Of course, Theresa May says absolutely not. She will not delay that. You heard her just say it again. So the Labour Party has said they'll do a no confidence motion if this bill doesn't get passed, which is not supposed to get passed, and then they want elections. Now, this is an incredibly difficult period when they're due to fall out of the EU at the end of March. There's very little time for any other option, so it's very hard to see what will happen next.
Well, absolutely, Mandy, and thanks very much for joining us with all of that. So it continues to be, of course, status quo and a stalemate there in Britain. Thanks for that. Well, staying with, of course, news from the Brexit, and what would Britain's relationship with the Eurozone be like after it leaves the European Union? This is where the hard and soft Brexit comes into place. A hard Brexit deal, which advocates, limited ties with the European Union, is favoured by the ardent Brexiteers. And the goal is to leave the Eurozone single market and reject all of EU's regulations and tariffs. The hard Brexiteers say that the UK should have its own rules and custom arrangements. They are willing to accept the short-term disruption and high cost of breaking free from Brussels because they believe that better regulation and free trade deals all over the world will lead to long-term gains. Now, the soft Brexit, which is favoured by the Remainers, advocates a close relationship between Britain and the European Union. This type of Brexit favours staying with the European Union's single market and customs union. Soft Brexiteers are willing to abide by Eurozone's rules. Meanwhile, hard Brexiteers say that such a move would only make Britain a dependent state on the European Union.